This is a LEGO magazine, and if you live in certain parts of Europe, Australia, or Latin America, you're probably used to seeing these all over the place. But if you live elsewhere in the world, you may not be as familiar with them because they're really not sold outside of these places. There's numerous different LEGO magazines for different LEGO themes. Ninjago, Marvel, Star Wars, DC, City. Pretty much most popular LEGO themes have a tie-in magazine. And each magazine includes an exclusive polybag with a minifigure, a build, or even sometimes both. For the past 3 years of my channel, I've been reviewing the Ninjago magazine, but since I live in the United States, I've had to import them from the UK. Recently though, I had the chance to travel abroad for the first time as my girlfriend was taking a semester in Italy and I wanted to go visit her. However, I have to admit, I had an ulterior motive with my trip. You see, when I was booking my flight, there was no straight flights from me to Italy. I had to make a stop at another country in the middle. But I wanted to be strategic about which country I chose, and I saw that Germany was one of the options. Blue Ocean, the company that makes the LEGO magazines, originates in Germany, and as such, I heard that it's incredibly easy to find them there, and that the German versions of the magazines are the very best ones. So I booked my flight to land in Germany with hopes to pick up a LEGO magazine while I was there. However, I only had a few hours in Germany before I had to board my flight to Italy, so I would actually be stuck in the airport the entire time. Now, at least here in the US, I knew airports usually had like magazine stands, so I was hoping that Germany would be similar and that they would actually have the LEGO magazines there, and luckily I was right. The shops in the airports had almost everything I could have possibly wanted, so I picked up a total of 5 magazines. Real quick though, if you're enjoying this video at any point in time and would like to leave a like on it, or subscribe to my channel if you're new, I would greatly appreciate it. Liking and subscribing helps put my videos in your feed more often, and also does a ton to help support me and the channel. So if you like what you see and you want to see more, make sure to click those 2 buttons. So thank you all for your support, and now let's get back to the video. The first magazine that I grabbed was of course the LEGO Ninjago magazine, because that's the magazine that I normally cover on my channel, and I wasn't sure how much these were going to cost, so I was really planning on only buying this magazine. However, when it came time to check out, this thing was only €5, which you convert that to US dollars is like $5.50. And I don't think I need to stress how incredibly cheap that is. Like when I import the British magazine, it cost me like $13 per magazine. So being able to get the full magazine, the minifigure, and everything for only €5 was amazing. This magazine of course came with a polybag and a Golden Dragon Coal minifigure. And something that's very nice is it actually wasn't connected on with tape like the British magazines are, so that way I was able to remove the polybag from the magazine without actually damaging the cover. However, the thing I was most excited for with this magazine was this in the bottom corner right here. This is a Ninjago card. Now, if you buy the English versions of the magazine, you may not be familiar with this, because these don't exist in the English version, but man, I wish they did, because this is just so cool. It can also be completely removed from the cover. And here it is removed. You can see it's all reflective and shiny. This particular card is an Oni Lloyd card, and it's actually a part of a proper trading card game that the magazine's been doing for a while. I have no clue how it works, but you can see the card has numbers in the 4 different corners. But man, these would be really fun to collect. I really wish the English magazines came with them. I really love the original Ninjago cards that came in sets when I was a kid, so if there was a modern version of the Ninjago trading card game in English, I would for sure collect it. Yeah, you only get the 1 card of this magazine, but considering this is issue number 100, I think Oni Lloyd was the perfect choice. Now we have a look at the full cover of the magazine, and if we compare this to the English version, which I have here on the right, which I reviewed on the channel a few months ago, the 2 covers are mostly the same with a few differences. The German magazine's advertising a giveaway, and it's got a spot for the card right here, so the English version had to fill those spaces with other things. Flipping through the magazine, I actually found a difference between the 2 versions, because they are mostly the same, just English versus German, but this page actually doesn't exist in the English version. This looks to be some sort of game that ties in with the trading cards, but obviously because the English version doesn't get the trading cards, that one just had a maze on this page instead. The German magazine also has posters in the center just like the English magazine does, though funnily enough both these posters have no writing on them except for the word Ninjago, so there's actually no difference between these and the English ones. We also have an advertisement for the trading card game here, and actually after the comic ends, the last few pages of the German magazine are completely different from the ones in the English magazine. This one's the same, it's just like a little board game. But then we have an advertisement for Legoland and this giveaway right here. Then this looks to be like the featured fans section, which used to be in the English version, but they kind of got rid of that. But it looks like it still exists in the German version. This page is in the English magazine, though earlier on. And then it ends with an advertisement for Ninjago Core at the end, which I don't believe that exists in the English magazine either. The back cover is also advertising these Harry Potter cards, while the English magazine had like this little thing you could cut out. So it actually seems like there's less content in the German magazine compared to the English one, because it's a lot more advertisements and whatnot. However, I think it definitely makes up for that in the fact that it comes with the trading card, because as I said, this looks awesome. These would be so much fun to collect if I didn't have to import them to get them. And of course, the Golden Dragon Coal minifigure that the magazine came with is incredible. Again, I have to reiterate, being able to go out and buy this for only €5, I'm so incredibly jealous. I wish I could do that here. Like, the only reason the magazine's sustainable for me to get is because I can make videos on it for you guys. There's no way I'd be importing it with how much it costs just for my own collection. But now, of course, because that magazine was so cheap, I was like, okay, why don't I get more? Are they all this cheap? And the answer was yes. So the next one I picked up was the Ninjago Legacy magazine. Now this one's an even better deal because once again it was only €5, but instead of one minifigure it came with two. Think about it, I bought this entire magazine for the same price as one collectible minifigure. And this was just the most recent Ninjago Legacy magazine out at the time, however it is a pretty good one to pick up. You can see it comes with a Core Wu minifigure as well as a Ghost minifigure, and we'll look at them up closer in a moment. But the cheapest set that Core Wu comes in is $60. And I believe most of the sets that the Ghost comes in are retired now, though I think Zane's Mac is still out for $65. Just like the normal Ninjago magazine, this one came with a trading card too, this time of Crystallized J. And this one looks pretty cool too. Not nearly as cool as the Lloyd card, but I am happy to be able to have more than one in my collection. But yeah, the card even has like his original symbol in the back right there. That's so neat. These are genuinely just so much fun. There's a look at the full cover of the Legacy magazine, and I don't have an English version to compare this one to, but it does of course feature a comic, and this looks to be a core comic that features both the ghosts and the bone villains. That makes me kind of want to get the English version of this, because I'd be curious to see what the story actually is. There's of course a double-sided poster in this magazine too. The one side's got a picture of all the core ninja on it, and this one does actually have some German text, which I cannot read. And then the other side is a picture of one of the bone warriors on it. I actually really like this one. This one looks super cool. But aside from the comic, this magazine has games and like facts about Ninjago and whatnot all throughout. Because it's a Legacy magazine, it's all about Ninjago's history, and they also showcase sets in it too. There's an advertisement for the following month's magazine, which comes with Core Kai and a Bone King minifigure. And then here's a closer look at the minifigures it comes with. You can see it's a blister pack instead of a polybag, and it's got the two figures inside. And all built up, yeah, these two are incredible. The same exact figures that come in full-size sets, but again for only $5. I can't stress enough how important that price point is, both for older collectors like me, but also for kids. Like when I was a kid, I had friends who really couldn't afford too much LEGO even if they loved watching the Ninjago show, so they had like one $10 spinner and that was it. But a magazine like this, especially the Legacy magazine, could be so good for kids like that, because it would allow them to get two minifigures, a good guy and a bad guy, without having to spend all too much money. Additionally, these two are both fairly rare minifigures. Like as I said, Wu only comes in a $60 set or more expensive, and the Legacy Ghost did come in a few sets, but not too many. And most of those sets are retired now and were still retired when I bought these. I don't import the Legacy magazines because it is so expensive to get them over here, but if I was able to go to the store and buy them for only $5, I would be buying every single one. And ones like this that come with rare minifigures too, I might even get multiples of. This is just genuinely incredible. Because these magazines were so cheap, I was like, you know what, let's try another theme too. Because Ninjago is the main theme I cover, but I've never really got to tap into like the Marvel magazines or anything. Because again, they're so expensive to import, I'm not spending $13 on a Marvel magazine if I'm not gonna like it. But this one's $5 just like the rest, and I was like, hey, I don't have a Black Panther minifigure yet, I'd like to have a Black Panther minifigure. And I also thought it was interesting that it came with a build in this polybag, because as you just saw, the Ninjago magazines don't do that. Unlike the Ninjago magazines, there is no trading card with this magazine, however, that's fine. I think the fact that it comes with the build too more than makes up for it. Inside is the same standard stuff you'd expect from the other magazines: posters, advertisements, games, comic. The magazine itself is not nearly as interesting to me as the Ninjago one, because like it doesn't have details about the show or anything, because there really is like no tie-in media for this. Obviously there is like Marvel stuff out there, but Marvel isn't a LEGO property, so this is like very much a thing to the side. However, again, I want to emphasize that price, only €5. So for only €5, I don't really care about the magazine. I am here for the minifigure. So let's build this polybag up. This is cute. It's a little airship for Black Panther. There's a printed control panel piece at the front. Got these wings on the side, which you can fold out if you want, or fold them in. And the Black Panther minifigure itself is really great as well. I love all the metallic silver on him. Very happy to have this figure in my collection now. So this is one that, like, if these magazines were available in the US, I'd probably pick up sometimes, not every time. But for $5, if there was a figure or build I really liked, I'd make sure to get it. The next thing I found was this, and this is a LEGO City magazine. However, there's a bit more to it, because you can see this is actually two LEGO City magazines. However, it is still only €5. And you can see this advertisement on the side right here. Each magazine comes with a minifigure and a build, or a minifigure and a second minifigure. So potentially for only €5, I can have two full magazines plus two minifigures and potentially two builds. I'm not even particularly interested in the LEGO City magazine, but hey, two for the price of one, I'll definitely take it. Now I'm not sure if it's random between these five or if it's specifically the two at the top right here, but the magazines are inside this plastic covering, so let's open it up and see what's inside. Alright, and turning them over, we got, okay, two different ones that are not the ones on the front, and these actually might have been the ones I wanted the most, because this one comes with two minifigures. I much prefer two minifigures to a minifigure and a build. And then this one has a pretty solid build, and I love this minifigure. Also, weirdly, this one comes with a pack of Ninjago Trading Cards. I don't know why that's there, but hey, I'm not complaining, I'll take it. It's Series 5 too, which is the Prime Empire series, so that's not going to be the same cards I just got. Very cool. Inside the magazines, you got comics, posters, everything you'd expect. Got an advertisement for Kung Fu Panda. Alright. But let's take a look at the stuff that's on the front of the magazine. These polybags are actually taped on like the English version, so I'm destroying the cover. There's a look at the magazine covers, or at least what's left of the magazine covers, everything removed. But now let's get those Ninjago trading cards open. Now, I'm not sure how many come in here, it might just be one. Let's open this up, and no, it actually looks to be a few. Yeah, oh wow, there's a lot in here actually. Okay, let's see who we got. So this is just like a pamphlet telling you what cards you can get and how to play potentially. But then here we have the land bounty. This is, something. A terrain card, possibly? We have Avatar Harumi, very cool, very cool. I wanted that one. Then we have Richie, very cool. And then finally on the end, we have Avatar Cole. And this is like a special shiny card too. Okay, very cool. Okay, and here's the instructions. Yeah, I can't figure this out. I'm sure there's instructions online somewhere on how to play. And now that I do actually have a lot of these cards, I might look it up after the fact. But that could be its own separate video. Still though, these were a very exciting bonus for the LEGO City magazine. But now actually opening up these LEGO City Polybags. Here's the first one. And yeah, inside it literally is only 2 minifigures. But I know when I was a kid I would love this. LEGO Police was like the best thing ever when I was really little. So getting a cop and a robber for the equivalent of only $2.50, that's pretty good. And then opening the other polybag up. Honestly, this one's pretty great as well. There's a fairly significant build here. You got this machine that he's carrying as well as this little railing, a little shovel as an accessory, and then this minifigure itself is actually kind of fantastic. I love the printed leg piece. The LEGO Batman movie belt piece is so nice to get, and very expressive face to it. It's dual-sided as well. So yeah, considering the fact that I got all of this, plus the Ninjago cards, plus actually counting the 2 magazines for only €5, again, for kids especially, this is amazing. But even for older collectors, this is a really affordable way to get stuff to just add to your collection. And then here's the final magazine I picked up during my time in the airport. And you can see this is yet another Ninjago magazine. However, this is a Ninjago magazine that doesn't exist in English. Or at least I don't think it does. It doesn't exist on any of the websites that I import my magazines from. And it looks like this seems to be a best of magazine. And it features 2 different comics inside that were in previous Ninjago magazines. In addition to being a re-release of the comics, it's also a re-release of a previous polybag. And then it also comes with a trading card booster pack as well. You can see in the case of this issue, it came with Island J, which is a magazine that came out probably 2 years ago at this point. I don't remember if those sets are still on shelves. I think some of them are, so you might still be able to get this figure. But regardless, obviously, as time goes on, the figures get rarer, so it's actually really nice to have a cheap way to get a slightly older figure for new fans of Ninjago. The trading cards, too, are a fantastic inclusion, so let's get those removed and open them up. First, though, there's the full cover of the magazine if you're curious. But now let's start by opening the trading cards up and see who I get. Alright, so we have a part of the Golden Ultra Dragon on the front right here. Ooh, then we have like this shiny crystallized Evangelist figure. That looks really cool. Then after that, we have crystallized Asphyra, though that's not a shiny card. Then, oh, yes, okay, I got the Mango Whipper, though, with the Geo Whipper fists. That's very important, though. I love that guy. And then we have a card of Mayor Trustable, though this doesn't look to be a character card. This looks to be something else. And then finally on the end, we have, ooh, Dragon Power Kai. Man, these are so much fun. I love trading cards like I do like collecting Pokemon cards and whatnot. I really wish these were in the US. I gotta look into if there's a cheap way to import these, because, man, this is so cool. And then opening up the polybag. And inside we have Island J, who is personally not one of my favorite magazine figures ever, just because he doesn't come with his armor piece, so it's an incomplete version of the figure. The figure itself, though, is really great, and what, the cheapest set he came in was like $60? So this is a nice cheaper way to get him, and I love the weapons he comes with, like the giant lightning blast coming out of the nunchucks. And there we go, here is everything I got in my little trip around the airport, not counting the actual magazines themselves. Which for some people the magazines may not matter, but for others, kids especially, I think the magazines are great because they are full of activities and they're kind of things I would have loved as a kid, so you get all this plus the activities in the actual magazines. This cost me a total of, what, €25? Which honestly, considering some of the minifigures we have here, is not bad at all. I had so much fun with this, it was so nice just to be able to pick these up and buy them. The trading cards really add so much too. I don't think I could be happier with how all of this went. Now this isn't where the story ends. I then went on to enjoy my time in Italy with my girlfriend, and I traveled back home. About a month later, though, it was time for her to return home too. And just like me, she had a layover, though hers was in Switzerland instead of Germany. Her connecting flight was unfortunately delayed to the following day, so she was actually stuck in Switzerland for the night. So with this newfound time in her hands, I called her up to ask her a question. Hey honey, if it's not too much trouble, could you see if the airport has LEGO magazines? It turns out my suspicion was correct. They did carry LEGO magazines, and it was the German versions too. Now these were a bit more expensive than they were in Germany, costing about $10 each, so she picked me up a total of 2 of them. So thank you very much, Emma, for your help in this video. I love you. Everyone watching this, please go show her some support on her art account on Instagram. But now let's take a look at those magazines she picked up for me. So the first of the 2 magazines was, of course, the latest LEGO Ninjago magazine, because, of course, it had been a month, so there was a new issue out now. And this was the one that came with the crystallized Asphyra figure. More importantly than that, though, it came with another exclusive trading card, this time of Golden Dragon Cole. And once again, this card looks fantastic. The blue as the background is just so pretty contrasted with the orange. Really happy to have this one. The magazine itself I have already covered on my channel in full in English, but just like the other Ninjago magazine that we took a look at, there are some differences between the German and the English versions. The posters in this one are actually in German, and it ends off with an advertisement for the Alvin and the Chipmunk show. That is very odd, because the English magazines don't really advertise non-LEGO stuff. Crystallized Asphyra is one of the lamer magazine exclusives in my opinion, but it is still nice to have a secondary way to get her. And there's how she looks all built up. So I am happy to have a second actual Ninjago magazine to cover in this video, but I think of all the different magazines I covered, this is probably the least interesting one. And then the final thing that I got is not actually a magazine, but it was sold with the magazines at the airport. And this is like a little activity book. Now these are released in the US, I believe. However, the release schedule in these in the US is a little bit all over the place. I'm not even sure if this version has released in English at all yet, and I know that these usually do come out in German first. But yeah, this is an activity book that comes with a Golden Dragon J minifigure, and inside it's somewhat similar to the magazine, just lots of little games. I do like the illustrations here. There's a comic inside as well, though done in a very different style. However, I actually might kind of prefer this, because this is all properly illustrated. I think the actual magazines use more renders. Also, Cole has Lloyd's hair for some reason, that's very strange. There's a little paint by numbers activity here that's not normally in the magazines. It looks like there's a whole story here too about Jay and Echo Zane. I'd actually be curious to read that in English. But yeah, this basically just feels like an expanded version of the magazine, so many different games and whatnot. And it seems like there's a lot more life and love put into this. Everything is properly illustrated and there's a lot more there. This one was also $10 in Switzerland, just like the magazines. But now finally, to end things off, let's remove that blister at the front to take a look at the minifigure. And here is the Golden Dragon J minifigure all put together. However, he does not come with his wings in this book, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's not the biggest deal. I do really like the weapons he has, like these little lightning blades with dragon hilts. But yeah, he's just a fantastic minifigure all around. I'm really glad to have another way to get him. Words cannot express how much fun it was just to be able to simply pick up and buy all these magazines, for only $5 or I guess €5 a piece too. I have no clue why these aren't sold in more places. With proper distribution, these would be so incredibly popular worldwide. They're fantastic products, it's a shame their distribution is so limited. They're a great add-on to a LEGO collection, they're a great starting point for kids just getting into LEGO, and it's also just a great way to get duplicates of hard-to-find minifigures. So LEGO or Blue Ocean or whoever's watching this, you should really try to put these out worldwide, because I know people would love them. Or, at the very least, if you can't do all that, can you please start including trading cards in the English version? These are so cool, I would love to collect them. The latest English Ninjago magazine came with Harry Potter cards for some reason. How hard is it just to include the actual cards that go with the magazines, right? But now I want to take a moment to thank this video's sponsor, We Love What You Build and the periodic table of LEGO colors. I can't tell you how many times I've been filming a LEGO review and a shade of blue pops up and I'm just like, light blue? Because LEGO has so many unique shades of so many different colors, and it's kind of hard to keep track of them all, especially each of their official names. But We Love What You Build sent me over the latest edition of their periodic table of LEGO colors, and this will definitely become a permanent addition to my studio. The product itself is a grid of all the different LEGO colors arranged like a periodic table. The colors are each split into different categories, and there's details in each one, such as the years they've been produced, how many different sets they've come in, and both LEGO and Bricklink's names for each color. They even have some retired colors on here too, as well as some of the newest colors. The periodic table of LEGO colors is a fantastic resource if you're a LEGO builder, and it's also just a cool decoration to have around your house. It's got a spot at the back to be able to hang it up on a wall. So if you're interested in getting the periodic table of LEGO colors for yourself, you can go to WLWB.com, I'll put a link in the description. And if you use code MIND at checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. And I think that's about it for this video, so thanks for watching everybody, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!